counter to that, there were bands coming on like the B-52s and Japan, I remember seeing, I think in '78, and and by then Nick and I spent quite a lot of time together. I've been in a couple of bands. In my first band, Shock Treatment, that's like all Ramones and very, very basic stuff. But no, I like the idea of playing interesting music. I'm not, I didn't want to play headbanging music, but I didn't want to make political music either.
You didn't necessarily want to start making music that would sell well. It was more about that punk thing of just getting on stage and expressing yourself and trying to be a bit different to everyone else.
Yeah, I didn't think in terms of selling well. It seemed to me as though all the interesting music was succeeding quite well anyway. Thank you very much. There's one band that I really liked was the Heartbreakers, if you understand. But he was a junkie, so everybody knew that. And when they finally got to make an album, it just didn't sound right, and that's why it didn't do particularly well. But every other band from that era made it on to sell it. They all got on the top of the pops. Susie and the Banshees, I watched them in front of like 100 people, then 400 people, then 1,000, then they were on top of the pops without compromising. So I didn't not think that we couldn't get to that place. But we were learning to play. Meeting Steve Duffy was important because I met him at art college. I kind of went to art college thinking maybe I'd meet somebody who was into making music, and I did. And Steve was quite incredible actually. He was unlike any of the other students there, and he was just mad. He drove everybody mad. He was the one, I write about him in the book. He was the one student that sort of got it. He was the teachers all loved him. He couldn't really act. He was not useful, like some of them. Steve and I started making music together. I brought Nick in, and our first gig with Both Surrender Angel was at the college. And the kind of music that we were making, yes, it was very, very different to how it would evolve.
And there was a key single thing to me at that time, Tubeway Army, Our Friends Electric.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what you were saying. Something that seemed to come from left field, but was a huge hit. And that seemed to be one of the records that kind of opened up the route to those whatever art type electronic type bands.
Yeah, well there was a swing, wasn't there, with a lot of the punks kind of moved back towards the land. Bowie and Roxy Music days, before we could move forward, we kind of had to go back a little bit and sort of get our bearings. And definitely Gary Newman, I suppose, is Hollywood again, she's Bowie now. Yeah, Ultravox were another one, John Fox, and seeing them, they had the energy of all the top punk bands, but they had this very interesting archetype to them as well.
And talking obviously Bowie, kind of brings, and that theme brings us on to the Rum Runner. Now, it's kind of February 1980, you and Nick walk into the Rum Runner during the day, hoping to flag a gig, and you meet one of the Barrow brothers. Paul becomes your manager in the end, offers you rehearsal space in the club, then you begin, or some of the band begin working at the club. So in a sense, if the Rum Runner hadn't existed, do you think Duran Duran would have had that success? Well, it was like your base, your inspiration.
Yeah, probably would have just taken a different route. Whether we would have made it, I don't know. A good manager, and managers are as